So I've always had self-esteem issues and, feeling like I'm not enough, feeling like I'm not worthy, I'm too fat, I'm too tall for being a Hispanic, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm not enough of this, not enough of that. One of those things that, I feel like kind of catapulted all those feelings was that I felt like my dad chose my brothers over me, and maybe because he wanted the boys to follow him and the boys to help him, which makes sense. But there was a specific time where my dad was going somewhere and he's like, hey, who wants to go? And I was like, oh, me, I want to go. But I think he just meant my older brother. So I don't know why he asked the question in that way if he wasn't talking about, hey, anyone that wants to go can go. I got on the truck, one that was in the backyard because I thought that's the one he was going to take. I got in there, I buckled myself up, and I was just waiting for them to come in. And then time passed, and I was like, where are they? And then I realized they had left in the other truck, so I was left there alone. And a lot of the times my dad wouldn't want to take me, he would want to take my brother. So I grew up feeling like I wasn't loved by my dad, and my dad didn't know how to show like his emotions. He wasn't like a very loving father. He loved us in his own way and showed it in his own way, but not in a way that I was able to really receive it at the time. Because obviously he would work really hard for us. He would provide for us. He would play with us here and there. When he would get upset, it was for real reasons. It wasn't like he was just getting mad and hitting us for no reason. So he obviously did very much love us. As a little girl, I felt like he didn't. He never said he loved us. He hardly gave us a hug. So I feel like that's where my wound of not feeling adequate or enough kind of started. And then just, growing up, being told I was fat once in school just added to it. And I was considered like a really smart kid in elementary and like middle school. And then in high school, obviously there was kids that were a lot smarter than me because there's like 4 elementary schools that go to then become like the middle school and high school, right? So there was a lot more kiddos out there, kiddos that were a lot smarter, and I felt so dumb because I used to think I was so smart, and then I would see these other kids that were a lot smarter than me, and I was like, I thought I was smart. So that hurt me as well, growing up thinking you're so smart and then realizing, oh, I'm not as smart as I thought. That really like kind of messes with the identity that you started making for yourself. Growing up, also, my dad would, and this is messed up to keep saying, oh, my dad this, my dad that, but he told me and my siblings that we're not good enough, that we're like good for nothings, buenos para nada. Growing up, we heard that a handful of times. It probably wasn't even that many times, but it was enough. And then every day after that, I told it to myself. He was no longer telling it to us, but I kept telling it to myself. And all of that affected me. That kind of bled into my marriage and my relationships prior as well. Just feeling like I'm not adequate enough, never enough. So I feel like that caused me to be more of like a sad, depressed person because I take things too personally because I care about what people think about me, and that's something that I'm really trying to work on. And growing up, I was just trying to please my parents, please those around me, because I realized that if I please my parents, they show me some sort of love or affection, or at least they're not yelling at me or whatever, right? Because they would yell at one of my siblings. And so that's like what I learned to do, like just be nice to everyone, agree, be agreeable. That was not good either. Yeah, with my friendships, thankfully people were very kind to me, so I didn't feel like I had to be, stand my ground in any type of way. Everyone was always really kind to me. I was trying to be kind to everyone else too. Yeah, I just, in the workplace, trying to please others, and that has greatly affected my mental health. And I've had imposter syndrome. I've had a lot of mental health, I would say, issues because of what I've experienced in the past, and maybe just because of the way my brain works. So yeah, many times I would look at myself in the mirror. I would just be crying and saying, "You're ugly. You're stupid. You're not worthy." Like, I was like the meanest person to myself. And that happened a few times. And sorry, my my throat is a little raspy. It's so smoky here in Central Oregon. There's lots of fires and it's pretty bad. But I was just mean to myself. I was a bully to myself, and yeah, I would keep repeating those lies every day. And feeling powerless, feeling like, okay, that's just how it is. You're just fat, you're just ugly, you're just dumb, you're just not worthy. You can't stand up for yourself. You suck at this, you suck at that. You're, like an imposter in the workplace. For so long, I felt like an imposter. I would cry on my way to work just because of how anxious I would get, because I cared so much about what other people thought of me. And I thought in my head that I wasn't enough, so they're going to find out that I'm not enough, that I'm not good enough. And it was just so horrible. It was so horrible. It messed my nervous system up really bad, which, yeah, was so hard to come out of. But there was a day that I was praying in the morning before my kids got up, and I just looked out the window and I was seeing the beautiful sunrise, the beautiful colors in the horizon and the sun peeking through. And I just felt so overwhelmed by God's love in that moment. And I was like, wow, He loves me just as I am. No matter what others have said, no matter what I say to myself every day, God loves me, and He thinks I'm beautiful. He thinks I'm good enough, And I just felt that to my core, and I just couldn't stop crying. I felt so thankful to Him, and I started thanking Him for everything. Like, thank you for this body that I say is so fat that was able to carry my children. And yeah, thank you so much, because it allows me to walk and to do everything that I need to do every day. Thank you for these eyes that can see, this mouth that can talk and eat, and these hands that can touch, and these feet that can walk. Like, thank you for everything, Lord. Thank you so much. Like, even though, we compare ourselves to people online all the time, and that's why I deleted my social medias. I was like, I can't keep comparing myself and my life to other people, because their highlights are just going to outbeat my life all the time. So yeah, I was like, stop comparing yourself to other people. Focus on you, your marriage, your children, your job. Just focus on that. Focus on your relatives, your friends. Focus on your little circle. Stop worrying so much about what other people are doing out there. Good for them. God bless them. But focus on what you have going on. Because if not, you're going to spend your life watching other people do what they want to do. And because you don't think you're worthy or enough, you won't do it a lot of the times. And you're just going to be watching other people do it. And that's horrible. So I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I don't need to do that. And my life can be small and simple and still be beautiful. And if I do go on this vacation or do this or do that, amazing, beautiful. But if I don't, I still have a beautiful life. I still have a beautiful family, and I'm still worthy, no matter what my body looks like, no matter how smart or not smart I am. And it's okay. We're all different, and that's beautiful. And we don't need to judge others because they're way too smart. They're too dumb. Like, no. Everyone has a gift from God. Everyone has a different mission to complete on this earth. So we can't expect to all look the same, right? So that's what I've been, thinking about and focusing on, and it's greatly helped. And there's beautiful Bible verses that have also really helped me. This is one that I really love. It's in Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I dedicated you. Before you were formed in the womb, before your parents even thought, oh, we're going to have another baby, God already knew us. That's just so beautiful. And it lets you know every life has dignity. Every life is worthy. You know, every person is important in the eyes of God, no matter what other people tell you, no matter what other people say or what you say. Your life is so valuable. You're so important. It's wonderful that you're here. You're here for a reason. And don't stress out on trying to figure out what is that reason. No, like live your life, do what you need to do today, the tasks that you need to complete today, whether it's cleaning your house, taking care of your kids, going to work, whatever it may be, working outside, going to the store, whatever you need to do today. Do it with great love and thanksgiving, and God will show you what your purpose is and what your little purposes are in the day-to-day if you're present. So don't let what other people think of you stop God's purpose. What you think of yourself, if it's negative, to stop God's purpose. Don't let social media, don't let the dang phone, stop you from seeing what God's purpose is in your day-to-day. And that's all I had for today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless.